There are tears that never make it past the threshold of the face, swallowed in the grocery store, dissolved without a trace, hidden in the shower where the water covers sound, the kind that fall in private so that no one else is found. There is suffering that operates entirely out of sight, that packs itself away before the morning and the light, that functions through the workday with a practiced steady hand, and comes apart at midnight in a way no one has planned. But every tear he counted, every one he saw, every drop that fell in darkness, past the reach of human law. The ones too small for sympathy, too quiet for a name, he collected every single one, and none of them looked the same. Every tear he counted,
none of them were lost.
none of them were lost. None were too insignificant to justify the cost of his attention, of his presence, of his knowing what they meant. Every tear a human ever cried, he knows exactly where it went. David wrote about a bottle where the tears of man are stored, not a metaphor of comfort, but a record being scored, that the God who tracks the sparrow and the numbered hairs of heads tracks the private grief of people crying into their beds. There are widows who have learned to grieve in portions and in shifts, who hold it in at dinner and release it in the rifts between the sleeping and the waking, in the gray and early hours, who have wept so long and quietly the weeping has lost its powers. But every tear he counted,
Every tear he counted,
everyone he saw,
everyone he saw,
every drop that fell in darkness, past the reach of human law. The ones too small for sympathy, too quiet for a name, he collected every single one, and none of them look the same. Every tear he counted,
none of them were lost.
none of them were lost. None were too insignificant to justify the cost of his attention, of his presence, of his knowing what they meant. Every tear a human ever cried, he knows exactly where it went. Jesus wept at Lazarus' tomb before he spoke the miracle, which means the God of resurrection chose the tear as vehicle, not bypassing the sorrow on the way to what he planned, but entering the grief completely, then extending his hand. And the shortest verse in scripture carries the longest weight. The God himself stood at the grave and let the moment break, because tears were never weakness in the economy of grace. They were the language that he honored with his presence and his face. So the ones who cry alone at 3 a.m. into the pillow, the ones whose losses Losers are too common for the world to treat as real. The ones whose pain is no occasion and no marker and no window are the ones whose tears are loudest in the place where he can feel. Not one was wasted,
Not one fell unwitnessed.
every tear that ever left a human eye landed somewhere sacred. He kept them all, he knows them all, and one day he will wipe them all. There is a road that every living soul eventually finds, where the morning stops being gentle and the burden redefines what a person thought their shoulders had the architecture for, where the weight of simply living becomes something to endure. Not the dramatic, not the singular, catastrophic blow, but the accumulated ordinary, the relentless undertow, the diagnosis, the betrayal, the financial slow collapse, the grief that has no occasion, and the joy that never lasts. Everyone is carrying something down this road, something that the outside world was never fully told. A particular and private cross that fits no other back, that follows every sunrise down the same familiar track. But the road that feels like solitude was never walked alone. Every step that feels abandoned has a witness of its own. The one who carried timber up a hill outside the city walls still walks beside the ones who stumble, still catches those who fall. Simon of Cyrene never volunteered for what he bore, was pulled from the crowd without a warning, without preparation for the weight that landed on him from a stranger in the street, and carried what he didn't choose until the hill and cross could meet. There are people like that every day on every kind of road, handed something in an ordinary moment, an unasked for load, who discover in the carrying what they never knew they had, that the weight which almost broke them was the thing that made them glad. Everyone is carrying something down this road, something that the outside world was never fully told. A particular and private cross that fits no other back, that follows every sunrise down the same familiar track. But the road that feels was never walked alone. Every step that feels abandoned has a witness of its own. The one who carried timber up a hill outside the city walls still walks beside the ones who stumble, still catches those who fall. The cross was never meant to be a decoration or a sign worn around the neck of those who never felt its actual design. It was meant to represent the willingness to carry what is hard, to keep moving down the road when moving feels completely scarred. And the promise wasn't that the weight would be removed from off the back, but that the one who knows the weight would feel whatever strength might lack. That the yoke would still be present, but the bearing would be shared. That no road would be so desolate that grace had never been there. Because everyone and every uphill, every stone beneath the feet has been walked before by one who made the walking incomplete. Into something, into meaning, into more than just the pain. Into the kind of road that only cross bearers can explain. The road is hard, the cross is real, but look closer at the one walking beside you. He has calluses on his hands from carrying something heavier, and he never once put it down. Put it down.
There are prayers that never graduate to sound, that live somewhere between the chest and throat and never come around to syllables, to sentences, to anything the ear could hold. Just a pressure in the sternum and a story never told. There are people sitting next to people who have no idea that the one beside them is dissolving in a silent fear. Holding conversations, passing plates, maintaining what is due, while somewhere in the interior a person is breaking through. A cry inside the silence, too deep for human words. The kind that feels the whole of a person and still goes unheard. Not because the world is cruel, but because some pain has no adequate translation and no public place to name. But there is one who reads what forms before the forming, who intercepts the signal at the level of the need, who doesn't wait for language to arrive in proper morning, but answers what the broken heart intended, not just what it freed. Hannah moved her lips at Shiloh, but released no sound at all. And the priest mistook the anguish for a woman past the wall of dignity But God received what Eli couldn't classify: a wordless devastation and an unarticulated cry. There are men who were never taught the architecture of expression, who carry decades of interior weight without a door, who sit in Sunday services and smile through the confession that everything is fine while something bleeds along the floor. Cry inside the silence, too deep for human word, the kind that fills the whole of a person and still goes unheard. Not because the world is cruel, but because some pain has no adequate translation and no public place to name. But there is one who reads what forms before the forming, who intercepts the signal at the level of the knee, who doesn't wait for language to arrive in proper mourning, but answers what the broken heart intended, not just what it freed. Paul wrote that the Spirit in us saves with groanings past the word, that when the soul runs out of language, something else is heard. A frequency beneath the frequency, a prayer beneath the prayer, that heaven reads fluently, that heaven finds exactly where. Because God was never limited to what the mouth could offer, never restricted to the polished and the properly expressed. He moves through the unspoken like a hand moves through the water, and finds the cry that never surfaced and calls it nonetheless. So the ones who have no words for what they carry in the deep, the ones whose pain is older than the language that they keep, the ones who open up their mouths and find that nothing comes not unheard, they are precisely where his listening becomes. The silence was never empty, it was full of what could not be said. And the God who formed the tongue also formed the ache beneath it. He reads both fluently, the spoken and the swallowed, the word and the wound. He heard it, he always heard it. There is a particular shame that belongs to the returning, the kind that makes the feet slow down the closer that they get, that replays every chapter of the leaving and the burning, and constructs a case for why the door is probably shut. Some have been away so long, the language feels like borrowed. The songs they used to know have gaps where memory fell out. And standing at the edge of coming back feels more like sorrow than relief, because the distance grew a very specific doubt. But the road back home is shorter than the shame would have it seem, shorter than the years suggest, shorter than the in-between. Every step that points toward returning cuts the distance down, and what felt like permanent exile is just a journey back to ground. The road back home was never closed, was never reassigned, was never given to the ones who never left or fell behind. It was held deliberately, specifically by name, waiting for the one who went to find their way back to the flame. There are people who have crossed so many lines they stopped the counting, who built themselves a life so far from everything they knew, who look back at the origin the way you'd look at a mountain, something real but unreachable from where the road led to. And the enemy of returning is not the distance traveled, it is the arithmetic of worthiness, the calculation made, that too much has unraveled, that the story is too raveled to be received by anything but judgment and the blade. But the road back home is shorter than the shame would have it seem, shorter than the years suggest, shorter than the in-between. Every step that points toward returning cuts the distance down, and what felt like permanent exile is just a journey back to ground. The road back home was never closed, was never reassigned, was never given to the ones who never left or fell behind. It was held deliberately, specifically by name, waiting for the one who went to find their way back to the flame. The prodigal rehearsed his speech through miles of his returning, prepare the full confession and the offer to be less. But the father on the porch had never stopped his watching and his yearning, and ran before the son could finish his prepared address. Because home was never the reward for the sufficiently repentant, it was the starting point for everything that grace would do from there. The road, the ring, the table, none of it was contingent on the quality of sorrow, only on the sun being there. And every road that leads away from everything once sacred has a point somewhere along it where the turning can begin. No distance is so permanent, no soul so far and faded, that the road back home is nothing left to offer from within. The door was never locked, and from the outside, only from the inside. And the one waiting on the other side has been watching the road since the day you left. Still watching, still waiting. Come home. There are seasons when the darkness is not metaphor but fact. When the things that used to shine have lost their capacity to act. When the faith that felt like sunrise starts to flicker in the wind, and the light that once was certain grows uncertain and grows thin. Some have watched the flame diminish through a long and grinding year, through the losses that accumulated, through the answers that won't clear, through the prayers that built a silence where an answer used to live, through the emptying of everything they had the strength to give. But the light that comes from heaven is not wired to the weather, was not installed by circumstance, and can't be moved by weather. The storm is long or short or wide, or deeper than before. It burns from something older than the darkness at the door. Was never powered by the feeling, was never at the mercy of the night's ability to press. It burns inside the marrow, burns beneath the pain and reeling, and darkness has been trying since the start with no success. There are believers in the furnace of a life they didn't choose, who have every earthly reason to conclude that faith will lose, who have held the torch through funerals and failures and the fall, and still show up on Wednesday with the light burning through it all. Not because the road grew easier or the answers finally came, not because the grief resolved itself or healed the way it came, but because the light they carry is not native to themselves. It was placed there by a source that no adversity compels. But the light that comes from heaven is not wired to the weather, was not installed by circumstance, and can't be moved by weather. The storm is long or short or wide or deeper than before. It burns from something older than the darkness at the door. Oh, the light that won't go out, was never powered by the feeling, was never at the mercy of the night's ability to press. It burns inside the marrow, burns beneath the pain and reeling, and darkness has been trying since the start with no success. The three men in the furnace had a fourth one walking near, and what was meant to end them became evidence of clear that fire has a jurisdiction and a boundary and a line that it cannot cross when something holy walks inside the shrine.
And the darkest Friday history recorded on its page became the hinge on which the light of every subsequent age has turned. Because the tomb was just a temporary housing for a light that death itself could not succeed in dousing. So the ones who feel the flickering, who fear the running out, who cut the flame with trembling hands and live with constant doubt, are carrying a light they did not generate or own. And what they cannot keep alive, He keeps alive alone. The darkness is never once swamped, not permanently, not finally. Every night in human history has ended in a morning, and the light that lives inside the ones who trust Him is not subject to the night. It was here before the darkness. It will be here after. It will not go out.
There is something honest about the dirt beneath a person's feet, about the distance between who they are and who they meant to be, the gap between the promise of the morning and the night, between the one they show the world and what lives out of sight. Humanity was fashioned from the ground, and to the ground returns. And in between the forming and the falling, something learns that the clay was never perfect, and the vessel always cracks. And grace was always knit for what the cracking brings to bear. Dust and grace, the oldest conversation known to man. The distance between falling and the reach of an open hand. No matter how the road got dirty, no matter where it went, grace has longer arms than shame has ever had extent.
Dust and grace,
The story underneath
every story told,
every story told,
of the ones who lost their way
and then were found inside the cold. The road back isn't paved
with the
performance of the clean. Grace meets the dusty ones exactly where the dust has been. There are people wearing the evidence of every wrong road taken, carrying the residue of choices that have left them shaken, convinced the accumulation of the damage is the verdict, that the sum of all their falling is the final finds it,
finds inside the ruin
what can be remain.
just and grace,
The oldest conversation
known to man.
known to man. The distance between falling and the reach of an open hand. No matter how the road got dirty,
No matter
no matter where it went, grace has longer arms than shame has ever had extent. Just and grace, the story underneath
every story told
every story told,
of the ones who lost their way.
and then we're found inside the code. The road back isn't paved with a performance of the clean. Grace meets the dusty ones exactly where the dust has been. The woman at the well had 5 reasons to stay hidden. The tax collector in the tree had every social strike against him. The thief beside the cross had nothing left to bring him a breath. And grace received all 3 before the afternoon of death. Because grace was never calibrated for the nearly there, never reserved for the ones who kept their record clean and fair. It was engineered for the irreversible, the too far gone, the ones who stopped believing anything good could still be drawn from what remained of them. And yet the grace came anyway, not after the cleaning up, but into the middle of the disarray. And what the dust could never cover was the fact of being known. Grace finds its finest work in what the world has already thrown. The ground is where grace does its best work, not in the polished, not in the polished, not in the arrived, in the fallen, in the dusty, in the ones still on their knees, in the ones still on their knees, wondering if anything good could possibly reach this far down. It can, it already has. It already has. The desert is not only sand and heat, an absence of the green. It is any stretch of living where the usual goes unseen, where the calendar keeps moving, but the inside becomes still, where the waiting has no deadline and the silence has no feel. There are people in the middle of a season without name, where the last clear word from heaven feels like years ago it came, where the ministry is quieted and the vision hasn't moved, and the faith that once felt liquid has gone solid and ungrooved. But the desert has a history that comfort never built, has produced what no abundance ever fashioned or ever filled. Moses met the burning bush, not in the palace or the crowd, but in the wilderness of Midian,
everything loud. The desert is not punishment disguised as empty ground. It is the specific place where certain voices can be found, that the noise of normal living buries underneath the rush, and only surface in the stripping, only speak inside the hush. John the Baptist was a desert voice before he was a name, and Jesus walked 40 days into the dry before he came, into the fullness of the ministry that changed the course of time. The desert was not detour, it was architecture of the divine. There are those who feel the wilderness as failure or a sign that something has gone wrong inside the spiritual design, who measure God's approval by the rainfall and the green, and interpret every desert as a judgment in between. But the desert has a history that comfort never built, has produced what no abundance ever fashioned or ever filled. Moses met the burning bush, not in the palace or the crowd, but in the wilderness of Midian, away from everything loud. The desert is not punishment disguised as empty ground. It is the specific place where certain voices can be found, that the noise of normal living buries underneath the rush, and only surface in the stripping, only speak inside the hush. Because God speaks in registers the busyness cannot receive, in frequencies that only open ground and silence can't perceive. And the ones who have been empty of the comfortable and known are the ones most likely standing where a burning bush has grown. The desert does a work that the garden never could, removes the superficial, strips the decorative wood, down to what is fundamental, down to what is true, down to the conversation that was always meant for you. And what feels like abandonment in the dry and cracking place is often the most concentrated form of undeserved grace. The voice that speaks in deserts is not louder but more clear, and the ones who learn to hear it there hear everything from here. The desert was never the absence of God, it was the absence of everything else. And in that particular absence, a voice becomes unmistakable, going to the dry place without fear. Something is already waiting there, something that only speaks when everything else goes quiet.